Okay, hello and welcome back to some more F1 2021 My Team. We're at home in Britain for today's race. We have got Silverstone. Now, before I get into anything, there has been some driver transfers that we'll get into in a second because it's mid-season now. We still got Perez, but there has been a couple. But yeah, so not looking great on qualifying here, and also a possibility for rain, so we'll see what happens. But our first driver transfer to Alfa Romeo, joining Formula 1, is Callum Ilott. So he is replacing Russell in Alfa. So that's quite interesting, yeah. So he's welcomed with open arms. The next driver transfer is to Ferrari, and it is George Russell. He has moved from Alfa and been promoted up to Ferrari. So that'll be interesting to see. And the final driver transfer to Red Bull to replace Marcus Armstrong in the sport entirely is Carlos Sainz. Wow. Well, into qualifying with these three driver transfers. Marcus Armstrong given the boot after 8 races in Formula 1, so El Bozo. Yeah, that sucks for him. Anyways, it's really wet, but I thought I'd risk it on the slicks, and it's working quite well. There's a couple of other people on the slicks, but I feel like they're just not gripping well enough. I don't know why. I have medium traction on still, but yeah, I had some really good grip.
That's the fastest lap
Put me
so
up into
far.
P1,
Well done.
and I think it was by like 3 seconds or something ridiculous.
Great Britain then, one of only 2 countries to have held a Grand Prix in every single year of the Formula 1 World Championship. And the circuit extends that record further for today's Grand Prix. Silverstone circuit then. It's 3.6 miles long and has a total of 18 corners. And of course, is no stranger to the rain. There won't be any DRS available in these conditions, but the Wellington and Hangar Straights are still good opportunities to tuck into the slipstream and make a pass. Anthony Davidson, thanks for joining me once again for the Grand Prix. Let's talk about Reed. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
They've been avoiding mistakes and have had solid pace, so it's been a good season so far, but whether they can keep that up long term remains to be seen.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Reed lines up on pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Tsunoda, Perez, Lance Stroll and Leclerc, Gasly, Verstappen, Ocon and Lewis Hamilton, Giovinazzi, Joe, Nobuharu Matsushita and Raikkonen. Sainz, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Tictum, Lando Norris and Robert Schwartzman, Aitken, Latifi, Mazepin and Callum Ilott. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, I know it's your home Grand Prix, but treat it like any other race. Don't take unnecessary risks.
So yeah, it was by a whole 3 seconds because the AI all went out on slicks as well. But they were just really struggling. I honestly don't know what happened. But yeah, they were really struggling to keep any form of grip. Which is, it's honestly surprising because normally it's the complete other way around. But I mean, I'll take it. He gave me a free pole position, you know. And unlike Azerbaijan, I actually got pole position this time and didn't just get promoted up to pole position. So I will take it. But here we are then, in Silverstone, in the wet, on the inters, the 5 red lights. We are underway for the British Grand Prix. A pretty slow start for everyone. We shift straight up into 4th to gain some traction, which has worked a treat. George Russell, I didn't even realise, in P2 for the first time in a Ferrari. He goes alongside us into turn 3, but he can't stick it through. Yellow flag behind. What has happened? Is anyone out, or are we living? I think we're living. Alright. Lovely stuff. Well, yeah, so look, Russell moving into Ferrari is quite interesting because he might have a shot at the championship next season, which could induce some battles because we'll have a new engine next season, which will make life difficult. Or maybe not, we'll see. It might be a really good engine. I doubt it will, though. Anyways, as we end off the final lap, nothing too much has happened. No one's out. There was one yellow flag at the start, but no damage or anything. No one's pitting. It's surprisingly a tame race for a wet Silverstone. I mean, turn 1 especially is normally chaos. Oh shit, we go wide, but it's fine. Russell can't get past us. Going through Cops now on lap 2. Always a dodgy corner. And then we get the whole section of Maggots and Beckett's, which is a pain for me. I just don't understand it. I mean, I did it quite well here, but I lose so much time. I could gain like a second a lap on, or like, yeah, I could gain a second a lap on someone and lose most of it in that one section. I mean, you saw how close Russell got afterwards, so that might play a part later on in the race. The rain doesn't seem to be going away. The clouds are still grey everywhere, and also it's definitely getting a little bit heavier. Yeah, we're 5 laps in, and it's 100% getting heavier. You can see like the lack of grip. It's not getting too heavy, the rain. Like, we won't have to change onto wets, but there's definitely going to be no slicks, and it will get a lot more difficult to keep that gap between me. I mean, look there. Just the gap between me and Russell will close, and it will close fast. At the end of lap 5, we go through the last couple of corners, that little chicane. Being very, very careful on the controls. We don't want to like spin out, because if we spin, we won't correct it or anything. We gained a pretty good gap now. We're 1.6 seconds ahead of Russell. Oh shit. Okay, cheeky drift. Tokyo drift style. Yeah, no, that's not good because he just caught up a hell of a lot. At the end of lap 8, George Russell still behind us. I have to say, oh, okay, very wide there. Looking at the left-hand side of the screen, that looks so satisfying. Oh, George Russell's alongside in the final corner. He backs out because he's not a moron. But that looks so satisfying. Just yellow, red, blue, yellow, red. Then I like to imagine that Hamilton
will be with us for a while. Light rain conditions for the foreseeable future. Inters look like the best tyre for now.
Okay, so yeah, rain's not going away. That's fun. Now we are 10 laps in. It should be the same standings. Nothing's really been happening. I have been struggling a lot more. I mean, my tyre wear is insane. George Russell now coming for a move around the left-hand side, down the Wellington straight and into turn 6. Oh, a little bit of contact there. We're alongside him now into turn 7. We have the inside line. I just have to be really careful to make sure I don't understeer into the side of him. But we're all good. There was a little bit of contact, but no damage. At the end of lap 11, George Russell will to wheel again into turn 16. As we go round the outside, trying to keep that position. We've managed to get it, but the red indicator is still there, leaving enough room through 17 and 18. Oh no, we left the complete opposite of room. As he goes back past us into turn 1. Is there anything we can do here? He's got a lack of grip, but there's just nothing we can do. There is nothing we can do to defend that. And I think he's just got better tyres at the moment. He's just not been losing as much grip. And and he doesn't have any as much tyre wear, which is not great for us. Anyways, as we go through towards Maggots and Beckett's, we're still right on him, but it's going to take a lot for us to be able to catch up enough to overtake in the next lap. But I guess we can go on board with me. I'll commentate a whole lap as the final lap. I don't know if George has actually won a race with us yet, or not with us, with like in Formula 1 in my career. I'm actually not sure. Interesting. Anyways, we round off the final corner, go through turn 18 just about now to start the final lap of the race. George Russell goes fastest.
Final lap of the race.
As we go through into turn 1, a right-hander hitting it at 7th gear, heading towards the edge of the curb. In towards turn 3, we went slightly wide, and we've gone slightly wide on exit, but it's not too big a deal. Sonoda has been overtaken by Perez, and Perez
There's only
is
one
right
lap
on
of
us.
fuel remaining.
However, as we go onto the Wellington Straight now, through turn 5, through down to the Wellington Straight, under the Armco bridge there, George Russell absolutely flying. And I am pretty positive he hasn't won a race in Formula 1 yet, so that'll be good. If he does win, he might die. Who knows? Might get a heart attack or something. Anyways, Perez still behind us as we go through turn 8 and head towards Cox Corner. It's a long right-hander. You've got to be very careful how you place it because you can lose the car here quite a lot and you can go very wide and get penalties and stuff. Through Magnussen Beckett, shifting down to 7 quickly, off the throttle and down to 6 with a little bit of trail braking. And then we continue going on through down the final straight now. George Russell has fought from P2. He's made it to P1 in the last 2 laps in the wet conditions here at his home Grand Prix. He will take the checkered flag as a Formula 1 race winner. One more corner to go for him. George Russell in the Ferrari will take the checkered flag and win the British Grand Prix. Wow.
Great drive, great drive. We're really happy with that performance.
Oh, it's annoying that we lost the car, but I'm glad that he won it out of everyone, because it adds to the pile of winners. It's a bit disappointing for us, but we got lucky in qualifying,
Here we
so
are then, a fantastic
you can't win
British
them all.
Grand Prix, and what a performance it was from our race winners today. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
Rain always has the potential to liven up a race and mix up the order, and they've taken full advantage of that to claim the victory today. It's always a bit of a lottery when the conditions are like this, but they've managed to stay on circuit and have come out on top.
Ferrari are at it again, an excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
And there you have it. P1 goes George Russell with the fastest lap as well, by quite a bit on everyone else. I mean, look at that. That's a 134.0. I think the closest to that was a 134.5. Okay, wow. Well, good stuff for George in the Ferrari then, with a win off the bat. P2 in quali, getting a win, getting the fastest lap, max points he can. So you know what? He'll keep his seat for now. Unless he's done something stupid again. Well, I mean, if we have a look at the standings in a second, I don't think much would have changed. Perez getting a finish might have bumped him up. Same with Tsunoda. Stroll not getting too many points. Yeah, Perez and Tsunoda both took him over. This is the first time I have ever seen a 23 driver championship. You can see Marcus Armstrong's name has been greyed out, which is yeah, I've never seen that happen before, because you never normally get driver transfers mid-season, and if you do, they normally just get chucked down to a different team, rather than getting kicked out of the sport entirely. So that's an interesting one, you know, but fair enough. Anyways, thank you for watching this episode. I'm currently away, so I won't be able to necessarily reply to comments and stuff as quickly as I sometimes would, and I will see you next time round in Spa.